So we got a bit of a Platinum Games and Astral Chain 2 Nintendo Switch 2 update that I wanted to go over because I found this stuff to be incredibly fascinating. Hideki Kamiya, with his new studio Clovers, has talked a bit about what he did transitioning over from Platinum Games to the new studio, now making Okami, and it seems like there has been a mass exodus of talent that absolutely puts Platinum Games and the future of Astral Chain, Bayonetta, and other games that Nintendo does develop in jeopardy at this point. But before we get into all that, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Let's go ahead and jump right into this because in a recent interview with IGN and also the rumors that are out there, it shows that many people that were working at Platinum Games left with Hideki Kamiya to form Clovers, and now they are working on the new Okami game in conjunction with a couple other studios and Capcom. There was animators, there was different Metal Gear Rising developers, different developers that have worked on Astral Chain, all sorts of stuff that followed Hideki Kamiya over. There's about 20 people that are working at Clovers right now. This is in addition to the actual director of Platinum Games, Takehisa Tura. He was the big guy that was showing up at E3 playing the demo, and he's been the one that directed this game that made Astral Chain what it is overall with his vision, along with, of course, other developers. But really, Takehisa Tura, he was the guy. Apparently, he's also left as well, along with many other people. Kenji Saito also leaving. So there is absolutely some problems right now at Platinum Games, and we really haven't heard much from them in terms of what they're working on. Hideki Kamiya has came out and stated that he would have liked to see like the games that they had, Project GG and other stuff, to fruition. Also, he talked about how Scalebound, how he was upset how that game could have turned out great. And the reason why he left Platinum Games is because he was shouldering so much of the burden of running Platinum Games as a vice president, director type of person, but then also struggling with the concept of being able to make something. So things weren't going the way that he felt. So he decided that it was time for him to go and have a fresh start when it comes to being hands-on, working, and of course having this studio working small and then working their way up, but then also working with other companies to truly make what he wants to do, which is great games. And of course, him coming back to Okami after 20 years almost, it seems, is obviously a dream come true for him and of course for the fans, as he was the original developer and creator of Okami over there at Clover Studio back when they were with Capcom. So this is great to see, but it does leave many questions unanswered. So we're going to talk about the best case scenario when it comes to Astral Chain and what's going to happen. So I still feel that, yes, Platinum Games is here for right now, so we can't definitively say that they're going to shut down or not. But I think that the best thing right now, probably for the future of Astral Chain, would be to get a Astral Chain remastered or an update of Astral Chain on the Nintendo Switch 2 that's at 1080p 60 frames per second. There was no DLC for the game or any extra content because it didn't need it. It was all included in the game. All the different color combinations and outfits and extra missions, everything is actually in there. As you do different missions and as you do different things, you unlock so many different upgrades that could have easily been little DLC items or things like that. And then even after you beat the game, extra missions are unlocked, extra case files are done that are really difficult as well. So everything's included. So the complete edition is already complete. So I would say take that, remaster it from Platinum. That's what, if I was Nintendo, I would tell them, hey, you guys remaster Astral Chain for the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe you guys have an update as well. If you have the game already, you have like a $10 upgrade path or something like that, and probably re-release a second cartridge for the game as well. So do that first and foremost and see how that does at some point, and then kind of go from there. We also have to look at what's happening with Bayonetta. Is Bayonetta going to be a problem now in terms of getting that game done? What's going to happen with that? Sega owns the IP to Bayonetta. Some people think that Nintendo owns the IP. Nintendo does not own the IP to Bayonetta. Nintendo owns the rights to Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3, but they do not own the rights to the character and the franchise itself. It was licensed out, but they own that game's rights. They determine what happens with Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3, where it goes, all of that. So I do think that Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2, and Bayonetta 3, if you can get that in a triple, remaster pack on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. I think that would also do incredibly well just because those games have some frame rate stuff, really more Bayonetta 3 more than the other two, but they're not perfect 60s. So if you can get all of those in 1080p 60 perfect, no issues at all whatsoever, especially Bayonetta 3, I think that would also be good. But where does that leave us when it comes to Astral Chain 2? Will there not be a sequel at this point? And it's hard to say that there will be, because if you look at it, Takehisa Tura, he was the main driving force behind that game, and it looks like he's no longer at Platinum Games, and there's a lot of talent that has moved on. So what are they going to do with that? Who's going to actually be the driving force behind a game as complex and as intricate as Astral Chain? For those that have played it, it is a crazy game. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's so many different fine details with the combat, and if you're truly going to surpass what you did, you need someone that has the original workings of how that game worked in order to really get it to say, okay, we're going to evolve this, we're going to do this. Now, I'm sure there might be something that was more of a protege or somebody underneath them that can understand it, but you still have to have the team size and the team, I would say, motivation to get something like this done. If you were to really bring a brand new Astral Chain game with brand new legions and intricate gameplay combinations, you really need someone that understands the game in and out. And Takehisa Tura, he was someone that understood Astral Chain all the way through, getting the pure platinums, S rankings, and all of that, pretty much in everything that he did with the game. He was really good at it, so he understands it more than anything. You need those people to bring those ideas. So right now, it's just hard to say that they have those people left based off of the rumors here and based off of the facts of what Mr. Hideki Kamiya said in terms of who he brought over from Platinum Games, which was pretty crazy to see so much talent. So yeah, it's definitely a problem right now for Platinum Games and for Nintendo if they're going to go forward with games like Bayonetta 4 and Astral Chain 2. But for right now, I would say remasters are the best bet. Remaster those games. Let the developers that are left, if the studio is going to continue, let them get experience in terms of bringing that higher quality experience to the Nintendo Switch 2, and then see what else can be done from there. But yeah, it's definitely not looking too good for Platinum Games or an Astral Chain sequel right now. But once again, like I said, go with what you know works, bundle it together, make it run as good as it can, 1080p 60, put that out there and see how it does. Or even, once again, upgrade path, people can still buy the game on the Nintendo Switch 1, then get an upgrade or not. So I'm very interested to see how things work out here, and I'm hoping the best for everybody included, because I want to see Clovers do well. I want to see Platinum Games, do well too, because they really have had some hit and miss, right? You have the Babylon's Fall, then you have Astral Chain. Bayonetta 3 has been good, but then there's been some other problems. Their last major huge financial hit was Nier Automata. That game sold incredibly well, but they haven't had anything like that or anything close to that since then. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future. But let's also continue on here with some Nintendo Switch 2 stuff, because it is starting to get pretty crazy. Nintendo Talk, who is a content creator on YouTube, he has over 175,000 subscribers, at least that's what his bio says on Twitter, talks about how he has a source, and he said this on Twitter, that Nintendo to reveal Nintendo Switch 2 in January. This is coming from a major third-party developer contact I have. Here's what they say about the console. Get ready to play modern AAA offerings on your Nintendo system in 2025. So this is something that we kind of already knew when it came to the Nintendo Switch being in 2025, and we know that there are going to be big AAA developers that are on board with this system at the jump, because I think that having a port of your PS4 or Xbox One game or your PS5 or Xbox Series game on the Nintendo Switch 2, and if it didn't take too long and you feel like you can make some money off it, you can get some couple 100,000 in sales or whatever, it's going to be worth it to port it over with whatever manpower that you did. So yeah, I absolutely think that that's going to happen. Now, he said a major third-party developer contact. I'm guessing that'd probably be a Western contact, not a Japanese game. So maybe somebody from EA, or maybe somebody from one of the companies here, Ubisoft, something like that, right? So I think it would have to be a Western contact overall. And I do think, yeah, obviously something's happening now. And he says January, so I mean, maybe people have been talking about how it's January for a while now, but that would be a pretty quick turnaround. There's been talk about a March release, but I don't really know about a March release. I mean, it could happen, but that would be the fastest turnaround ever. January, then March, I don't think so. So I do think that January is still it. I think that Nintendo will give us more solid information or talk about this system a lot in January, but I think that maybe there'll be something else later down the line, like in the next couple of months, like maybe March or so, and then they'll give us the actual release date that will be for maybe April or May or June, somewhere in that. I still think that it's a first half type of thing. Get the system out in the first half, get your games out, get what you need to get done, and then of course have that hardcore base go out there and buy it. Then by Christmas time, you still have hardcore base that want it, but then also that's trickled down to maybe some of the casuals. Maybe you have something like Mario Kart 9, which has been rumored at this point. You have also other big games like 3D Mario that you can have on the system. So these would help drive the system sales quite a bit. Now, another thing that I'd say with this is that this pretty much falls in line with what I think Nintendo was going to be doing after we didn't get anything from the people that were screaming, rumors, it's coming in September, rumors, it's coming in October, rumors, it's coming in November, rumors, it's coming in December. I mean, we've had people that sit here with the big, huge Nintendo logo and thumbnail and everything saying that it's coming next month, it's coming next month. We've had that since last year, people that are making multiple videos like it's coming next month and rumors. But I do think that this is probably the most likely scenario. And the reason why is because Nintendo probably wants to get the holiday season done, wrapped up with. Okay, done, wrapped up with. Overall, get the Nintendo Switch out there. Obviously, people are buying the Nintendo Switch. It's doing great. That's awesome. Cool, you know, and just get that over with, get the holiday season done, and then move on to what's next for them. Now, they still have a number of games coming out or slated for the Nintendo Switch 1. You have Donkey Kong, you have Xenoblade Chronicles X, there's Pokemon Legends ZA, and there's Metroid Prime 4. So there's still a number of games, but we don't know what they're going to be doing with the 2 games out of there, 50%. When it comes to Metroid Prime 4, I think it's going to be on both systems. They have not given us a release date for that game. And then Pokemon Legends ZA, they have not talked about that game at all since that original trailer. So I do think that both of those have a very good chance of being in the Nintendo Switch 2 era in terms of release. So having versions on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. I think that Donkey Kong, obviously, that's a Switch 1 game, and that's going to run at 1080p 60 frames per second. And then Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, that's going to be 1080p 30, and I do think that Nintendo will probably have an update or something to make it run better on the Nintendo Switch 2. So overall, Nintendo does have some plans, but they've completely been kind of coy on some of those release dates for those games. So I do think that that will play a part into it as well when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. But yeah, I'm just getting ready, man. I'm not really worried too much about what the AAA developers are doing overall and, you know, getting ready to do that. I'm really worried about what's Nintendo going to have. Not worried, but I'm more excited. That's the word. Excited for what Nintendo's going to have. The next evolution of Mario, 3D Mario, the next evolution of Mario Kart, the next evolution of what Monolith Soft has to do. I think those are going to be the huge drivers for Nintendo. Then, of course, the third-party developers will come in with their games here and there. But I have PlayStation, I have Xbox, I have PC, so I've played a lot of these games if they're going to be ports of stuff that I've already got or I've already played. But no, I'm still excited to see what's going to be happening, and I might buy them for the portable factor of it, depending on what the game is. But to me, the first party is always what's super important for a Nintendo system dropping in the first year. If you don't have that major first party games that really drive the system, you're going to be in trouble. Third party developers can't quite get it done like how Nintendo does for their own system. So I fully expect Nintendo to be dropping the hammer when it comes to big first party games, January or so, early in the year. They're going to talk about that, and it's going to be interesting. Now, there was also another person who puts out rumors that's been debunked many times. This person has not been someone who's been reliable overall, but they're starting to say, oh, well, Nintendo's going to move up the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2 because of the manufacturer leaks and all that. And it's like, Nintendo probably already knew that these manufacturer leaks are going to happen. They're waiting so long to get this done. I don't think they're going to react that type of way. If anything, they already knew, and they have a contingency plan based off of things. It's not like they're like, oh, we're going to see this. Oh my gosh, how is this happening? So I do think that there are people out there that are just trying to farm for Switch 2 stuff overall when it comes to rumors. But once again, we'll see what's happening when Nintendo gets into 2025. So what do you guys think overall about both these when it comes to Astral Chain, the futures of Astral Chain, Bayonetta, and of course Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.